Yeah. I made a promise to my mama that I'll bless her with some grandkids. She spoil them. Till then, I'm getting dollars.
What is up? We're back here on the Left Home podcast, episode number 8. Today we have Gavin Babcock. He is a professional disc golfer sponsored by Prodigy Disc, former collegiate wrestler.
Yep.
And now he's full-time on the road.
Yeah, full-time is be the first.
Try and I usually put it right here. So, yeah.
All right.
It's about good.
Yeah, be the first year fully on the tour. I graduated school last year in May and head out to Portland, so kind of got half a year, and it was easily like the best experience I'd ever had. And yeah, I'm stoked to just get a full year of it this year.
Hell yeah! What did you study in college?
Business major, and then got like a music minor.
Okay, sweet.
Yep.
What instruments do you?
I took piano lessons. Yeah, I took piano lessons for a while, and my uncle was actually a professor there, and just kind of like fell into a minor because I had the requirements to take his class, and that was a couple classes away. It was like
might as well.
Yeah.
Hell yeah. Sweet. So yeah, Gavin's a professional disc golfer. When did you start playing?
Junior year of high school, 2016. I'd kind of played like occasionally when we'd go down to our grandparents' house, and just like once or twice a month when I was little. But that was like the first year I fully got into it. We had a New Year's Eve like family party at Okoboji and rented out like a lake house, and my aunt's boyfriend at the time talked me into signing up for the PDGA, and played my first tournament at Pickard, actually, where the Des Moines Challenge is held. And
you're from Iowa, right?
Yeah, from Iowa. Okay. Yeah,
because I think that's like the only time we've actually ever met. It was like one time.
Yeah, you had that nuts eagle on 18.
Terry. Yeah.
Yeah, that was so sick.
Yep, like probably like one of the only ones ever.
Yeah, I don't know anyone else that's three that. That was absolutely
like
insane.
Probably like a 400 something foot throw in,
dude. On that green too,
and on camera, disgusting. We got the video. It was insane.
That video lives rent free in my head.
That was a good time.
Yeah, it was like 40-mile-an-hour winds. I was playing in rec, and I remember taking an 8 on hole 18, and I had like pros coming up to me like, "Oh, you took an 8 on there? Like that's such a good score today." And I was like, "What?" And everyone's just so nice, and it was very easy to want to come back, and just kind of fell in love with it from there.
So that was in 2016.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. It's crazy, like, because I've been playing since like 5th or 6th grade. So dang. Since like 2012 or 11 maybe. So like I've been playing for like 11 years or something.
That's nuts.
And like I'm pretty good, but like I see all these guys that are on tour after playing for like a few years. I'm like, fuck these guys. Like I found out Tristan had only been playing for like, I think he's only been playing disc golf for like 4 years.
Really?
Yeah, something like that. And I was like,
and then you get someone like Ezra, who's just, super athletic dude, picks it up quick, and then, top 5 thrower in the game.
Yeah,
like
I know. I've like seen all this. I'm like, man, it's a bullshit, but good for those guys.
I know.
So you started playing in 2016. What was it like moving up like the ranks? You said you actually played a rec tournament, because I feel like a lot of guys don't. Like I just played advanced and then pro.
Yeah,
you know.
Yeah, like, I could be making it up, but I could have swore Nico was like my favorite player when I was starting, and I thought I heard him say somewhere like he just kind of went until he got a win in each division. Okay, and it just kind of ended up working out that way. And so I played rec, got like an unsanctioned rec win, played and then moved up the next year. Got an unsanctioned intermediate win, and then same thing in advanced the following year. But I'd like never actually had like a sanctioned win until I had turned pro, because all of them were just like, popular like local unsanctioned events. Mm-hmm. And yeah, so just kind of 1 year at a time, just moving up, and rating kept going up with it, and just kind of grinding in the summers after wrestling got over. And
where are you from in Iowa?
Technically Altoona, Iowa. It's like a little suburb.
Are you
of
like
Des Moines.
Okay? So are you like pretty close to like where all the tournaments were?
Yeah.
Because where I grew up in Minnesota, I was like an hour to an hour and a half from all the tournaments. So I didn't like play a tournament until I think I was like probably at least like 16.
Really?
Yeah, which kind of sucked.
Yeah, because when you played the challenge, there were the 4 courses.
Yeah.
And I live within a 30-minute radius of all 4 of
Oh,
those.
damn. And that's like some of the best.
Yeah,
like,
it's like
obviously like Midwest disc golf's great overall, but like those 4 courses are insane.
Yeah, I mean, besides like Wildcat and some of the Cedar Rapids courses, then yeah, I mean, I got lucky and was within like 7 or 8 good courses of like a 30 to 35-minute radius. So
Damn.
yeah,
That's nice. Because I like growing up for me, I played like the same 9-hole course like 5 to 10 times a day for like years. But that was it until like every once in a while, me and my buddies, because we had like a good group of guys that would like, we all played and like took it pretty like serious. And then like every once in a while, one of the parents would be like, they'd drive us to like the cities to play or something.
That's sick.
It was so clutch. But when we did get to go play an actual 18, we were like, hell yeah. Like,
Yeah.
this is the best thing ever.
looking back at it though, like those are some of like the best times because like even when I moved to Altoona, I like the closest one is like 5 minutes away. It's a little 12-hole course, and just like grinding, like me and some buddies would same thing. Would just grind that little 12-hole, and then like on the weekend or something, we'd be like, all right, let's go. Like we'd pick an 18-hole course or 2 to go, and then it made that experience much more enjoyable and like looking forward to it.
Yeah. So how many years have you been playing pro then?
I think 2019, this is I think my 4th year.
4th year.
Yeah.
Okay. And when did you get did you have a pro win?
Yeah. I didn't get that until I think, I think it was 2020. It was just me and one other guy, but it was like his home course, and I ended up averaging 10-20. And so I didn't feel bad about
you're
just
like,
being 2 people in
for
the
people
division.
who don't like know disc golf, basically like for pros, I would say like you want to shoot over 1,000, I guess. 1,000 rated round is like, I would say like the bare minimum. But nowadays, probably like,
I mean,
if you want to be like 220 is probably like not even like, that's like you don't feel bad about your round, maybe.
Yeah. Because like at the time with it being like just a local tournament, and like I think I wasn't quite 1,000 rated yet, and just I think I shot a couple 45s and it's like 10-19, 10-21 or something, and yeah. So at the time it was like I didn't feel bad that it was just 2 people, and then I ended up getting my second one the day after.
Oh wow.
At Grandview too, but yeah, it's been quite a change though, going to the pro tour scene. Now it's like all sick, like top 20.
Do you think going on tour, like a lot of people say as soon as you on tour, you get better. And a lot of people say like there's like a rating jump too, just because as long as you shoot well, like the ratings tend to be like higher.
The ratings thing, I used to like highly believe in that, but I honestly don't think, like there's some courses like obviously like Fountain and Vista, like those are just nuts rating courses.
Yeah.
But like when you see like someone shot like 1080 or like it's
Like they just
they're just out of their
obviously
mind.
Everyone's just really good. So
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah. No, I mean, I really didn't see too much of a increase in ratings or anything, but it definitely constantly being around those guys and just playing with that high and just like seeing lines you don't take and practice rounds and stuff, being able to bounce ideas off each other. It just like throughout the year and even just the half year, I grew so much like knowledge as a player, and it kind of just changed my game.
Yeah.
Like,
I had like
better.
a similar experience when I finally moved to the cities, and then most of the time I would play with Terry Roethlisberger and Alex Geisinger. So like you go from kind of playing with just like your buddies who like, we're all like pretty decent disc golfers and everything, but then you see like the lines Terry and Alex throw.
Yeah.
And I'm like, I could throw far, luckily. So like I could see those lines and be like, oh, that's what I should be doing. So you play for a year with like really good players, and it changes it. Everything you think is like possible. You're like, you see a shot, and you're like, oh, I can do that. I just never even thought to do that.
Yeah.
That was like my biggest change.
Yeah. And I'm a fairly forehand dominant player. So like I found myself at the beginning of the year trying to force a lot of forehands when like maybe with the slope of the green or something, like with how late it needs to turn, like a backhand turnover or something, probably the play. And just like watching like these people, like even if just letting them play through or something, and then Chris Dickerson steps up and throws it, like, okay, like he has a forehand, and so like, why isn't he? But yeah, just being able to see all that and really
I feel like it's the change of like, okay, this hole ends to the right, forehand, this hole ends to the left, backhand, but it's like not always that way.
Yeah, because and I think the biggest, like the first course that really made me like get a full game plan, and was at like Worlds, because we played Utah Open before Worlds, me and some buddis, and I played so bad, and then having like be there for 2.5 weeks by the time Worlds gets done, and then I got like tied for 49th at Worlds, and going from like just playing absolute garbage at Utah Open to then just like seeing people in that tournament like throw these lines, like, okay, well, I didn't practice that, and then having a week to retool my game plan and then apply it to Worlds was like, wow, like that. It can just be like a quick turnaround like that if your practice rounds are effective.
Yeah, because like if you're a good player and you see like a new shot, you could probably throw that shot.
Yeah,
you just have to see it actually.
Yeah, because there's definitely weaknesses like in everyone's game, and like rollers aren't my strong suit, but I mean, Portland Open, I was seeing like, oh, everyone's throwing a roller here. And I mean, I don't throw rollers, and I threw 8 like per round just because it's such a long course. And I was like, that's clearly the play.
Shot,
yeah.
Huh. Yeah. I've only played, like, I haven't played many, like the only like A tiers I've played is like Des Moines, the Rumble.
I've never played Rumble.
The Rumble is like a good time.
That looks like a sick course.
Camden 2 is always super fun.
Yeah.
Like that's one of my favorite courses, probably. Super wooded, like a lot of elevation, but it also had like, I feel like it has like fair lines. Like it's not like wooded to where like you're kind of just throwing and like you hope for a good shot. Like if you throw a good shot, I feel like you got rewarded for it.
Yeah.
Where some wooded courses are just like bullshit. Like you kind of just throw and maybe you'll miss the trees, but
yeah,
that one's super fun. So if you get a chance to play that one, I definitely would. That's always a fun one. But so what do you think? Because I definitely have an opinion on like growing up being like an athlete, and nowadays we're seeing a lot more like athletes coming up quickly in the game, I would say, and they have that athletic background. Whereas me, like when I was in middle school, I'd watch I've probably seen like every disc golf YouTube video from like, 10 years ago or whatever. A lot of the players like were not very good. You would assume are not good athletes. Just looking at them, you can tell. Yeah. Now that's kind of changing a lot. You obviously have a wrestling background. Did you play any other sports?
I played football and baseball through like sophomore year of high school.
Okay.
But then just kind of stopped those for wrestling, and then junior year and on just wrestled.
Yeah. So like, what's your opinion on like the athletic background going into disc golf?
I think it makes the transition a lot easier because you understand, I mean, especially like a sport like wrestling where you have to be fully in tune with your body. And I think it makes like correcting errors easier, and as long as you can be aware of them, and just like having the right balance and everything and being flexible. I just think it makes a whole transition a quicker process for like most of it, and then it still eventually gets to a point where you have to grind to just fine tune those areas. But yeah, I'd say it's definitely. I mean, even looking at golf, like Tiger changed the game. Like he was like one of the first people to just like, oh, he's working. Like now all golfers are like super fit, and like a legit athletes. And I think it also just looks better for the sport,
definitely,
as well. If you just see a bunch of like people that are in shape, and it kind of makes the sport look a little more respected.
Yeah, I definitely I've kind of thought that for a while, because like I saw like the whole change of where disc golf in the last like 10 years went from, it's always been a super fast growing sport, but it also was, I mean, it's still small, but a lot of like the faces of the game or some of the best players, like in all honesty, if the outside world saw them, they wouldn't take it serious because of how they look. you know, and that's like no fault to them. Like that's just how they are, which is one of the things that I think makes this sport so cool is that you can have some dude who is there's professional athletes now that like play disc golf on the side.
Yeah.
But then you have local dude who smokes tons of weed, has beers on the course, but shreds like 10, 20 rounds every time he plays because he's just
John Daly of disc golf.
you know what I mean? So there's those guys. But that has been one thing that I think has like helped propel the sport a lot in the last probably like 4 or 5 years is majority of the top names have an athletic background or at least like look the part.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah. And like you can definitely see it too. Cause like, I mean, just the stories like you hear on the road and stuff of, oh, how the olden days, like they all go party and then wake up like, oh, you're too hungover. Like all have fun today type stuff. But now like everyone's really concerned with their diet, like recovery and I think Seth at Disc Golf Strong is helping a lot too. Just, I mean, I tweaked my back at, I don't know, it was like 2 or 3 weeks left in the season. And at GMC, like he was helping me and I was kind of like shying away from it a little bit just because like, I don't know, like in college, I had like a really good athletic trainer that I was close with and I just wasn't sure about it. But I mean, once I approached him, like he's super cool, super helpful. And it was like, that's what we've needed is someone to really like make sure that the players are getting like taken care of like that.
Right. Cause a lot of guys in the past were probably like, they're on the road, probably not even sleeping in like a van. They're sleeping in like the passenger seat of their car.
Yeah.
So that's horrible for you. Probably eating mainly fast food. And now just through like social media, you see like most guys are like at the health food stores, eating healthy, working out, like going and doing recovery stuff after every round. I think part of it is probably now everyone knows there's money in the game.
Yeah.
So they're like, why I'm in this position, like say like a guy like you who like first year on tour, you have the opportunity in the next, it could be this year, to completely change the trajectory of your life.
Yeah.
All based on like what you are able to do with your body. So I think they're all seeing like, oh shit, could I make like, you know, just a yearly salary? Could I make $1 million a year? You don't know now. And it's all like 100% on you. Whereas 10 years ago, it was kind of like, I mean, we could maybe make like probably 20K a year, have some tournament winnings, go work in the off season. Who really cares?
Yeah.
Now I think everyone's like, oh shit, if we take it serious, we don't ever have to work again, you know?
Yeah.
Which I think is like probably the biggest part in it.
Yeah. It's super eye opening and just kind of to be able to like, yeah, I mean, I feel like it kind of took some people and just like, why wasn't I taking that as serious like before? And now it's just like, wow, like I can do that. And even with like some tournaments, like it's tightening up. So like there's so many tournaments where it's only 1,000 rated players.
Right.
And like the average at the cash line, like for the cut or something is like 1024.
Right.
And it's like that, like last year, I mean, there's still tournaments where like locals are getting in, but it's in a couple years going to be like super strict. And unless you're on the tour, like you won't be playing,
which is how it should
tour.
be.
Yeah.
I would say.
Yeah. And it's definitely moving in the right direction. But I think with how tight it's getting, like people are really realizing like they need to start kind of focusing up a little bit and tightening some areas.
Yeah. It's crazy to see like maybe like 5 years ago, like Paul Macbeth being probably the only one that was like had a diet, you know,
going for late
was like
night runs
looking professional, like all that shit, and then gets the bag, and everyone's like, oh shit, here we go.
It's like, oh, there is money in this call. Yeah.
So speaking like on the topic of like making it a career and like money and stuff, I saw like your Instagram post a few weeks ago where you talked about like that last putt. I think it was at USDGC qualifiers.
Yeah.
Where you were like, oh shit, like I can do this. Kind of like that. Maybe like talk us through that.
Yeah. So going into senior year, like I had thought about the idea of doing this, but I really didn't know if it was like going to be viable as an option. But, yeah, cause COVID hit, fucking whatever. But then, DDO was the first tournament to reopen registration, and they opened up some more spots. So me and my buddy went and took a trip, and after I got some whack call from the spotter, and it was my fault for not calling provisional, but I ended up, long story short, I ended up tying for last cash with like James Conrad and Ben Calloway. I was like sick, like first ever NT, and like I cashed. I was like, okay, so like maybe I could do it. I left a lot out there. And then my buddy Matt Polson, he qualified for USDGC at the Majestic, and so I was going to go out there, try to Monday qualify, worst case, hang out and caddy with him, or caddy for him with Matt Schlebach. And yeah, and so I ended up doing the Monday qualifying, and super up and down round, kind of through the middle, just not playing great. And then it was like 960 golf at the beginning, and then like 1050 golf at the end. It was just all these crazy putts to like keep the hope alive. And then I put myself in position. I had to make like a 70-foot death putt for birdie on 18. And I walked up there, and the dude was like, some random guy comes up. He's like, "Hey, you know you have to make this, right?" I was like, "Thank you, yes."
For some context, hole 18 on this course is like slightly downhill. If you miss it, your disc is like off a cliff into the water, basically.
Yeah. It like it didn't matter if I missed, because if I went in the water, because if I didn't make it, then I was going home. But and so I managed to make that, and that was just to get into a playoff. And then it was like 5-person playoff for 3 spots, and I ended up making it in there. And I was like, I think people, I was the first Iowan to ever like make it in on Monday qualifying, is what like everyone was saying. Yeah. And so that was kind of, the signs just kept like aligning. And then I was like, okay, I think this is what I want to do. So then we started looking at vans. And then in January, right before it was like late January, right before we pulled the trigger on the van, Prodigy reached out, and that was like the clear cut sign. I was like, all right, like sick.
So at that time you were unsponsored?
Yeah. So I was unsponsored like all off season. I had reached out to some people, and they're like, it kind of like was a roller coaster of an email, because they're like, "Oh, we've already closed our application process, but we think you make a good fit. Like, welcome, like we'd love to have you on the team." I was like, oh shit. And then let's go. And then like a couple weeks later, got the van, and then every weekend at school, luckily I only lived like 40 minutes away, and I would just go home, and me and my stepdad, we have like a workshop in our garage, and just one piece at a time, started building her out a little bit, and now we're doing it.
How's it like? What are you, like 6'4", 6'3"?
Yeah, 6'4".
So like your van's like a pretty small one. You could
relatively to like
fit in that thing.
I couldn't be any taller, because there's like the bed is like 6 foot tall, but then there's like a 3-inch gap that my pillow like leans up against the back window. Yeah, and then I move my front seat forward, and it's like perfect. Damn. And so that's like the first thing everyone says when they see the size of my van, like, how the hell do you fit in that thing? But no, it's couldn't be any more perfect.
Damn, that's funny. So you got the van, got picked up by Prodigy. I don't know if you can like say anything, but were they like, was it just like discs, financial support, or like, was it anything like that?
Just kind of like just a base contract. Just some like team gear, and just some discs, obviously, because just to get me started and everything. Right. But yeah, nothing too big. And I kind of took it like I didn't expect anything much, right. And I kind of took it as like a prove yourself type of year if you want anything. And
so how did that year go then? You said you went on like half a year about.
Mm-hmm. I definitely felt like the beginning of the year was still kind of like, looking back, it was a lot of like, why did you throw that shot? Just either not knowing my bag fully yet. Mm-hmm. And I mean, because when I got picked up, I mean, later, it was like after the application process, and then didn't get my disc for how long. And then there's snow on the ground in Iowa. Yep. So I was out there every day with like awful footing, just trying to like, oh, how's that fly? But come time in June, it was still like a little shaky. I felt like there were a few holes in my bag, but it's a lot. Like, just I cannot wait for those tournaments at the beginning of the year to roll back around, because there's just so many things that I could have done, but
Prodigy's also dropping like tons of good shit in the last year.
The drivers coming out
Yeah.
are nuts.
I like-
Everyone that talks trash about Prodigy, wait.
Aren't they coming out with like a new like overstable approach disc too?
Yeah.
Yeah, I like
They-
Prodigy stuff.
Dude,
the
it
only
feels so
thing is
good.
sometimes the plastic a little sharp on the edges.
Flashing no more.
Really?
I'll let you feel some stuff.
Hell yeah.
It's money.
Because I love Prodigy putters. I love the A series. Haven't thrown them for a while, but I want to get back to it. I just got my buddy sent me a new, like an Airborne D1. I think it's beefy, and then like a D2 that goes a mile. So
Have you thrown the Falcor yet?
no, but I want one.
I'll let you throw.
I just saw
one
Kale's
today.
video yesterday, and I was like, I feel like I need this disc.
Because I got a practice round with Gannon and Kev at the All-Star event, and he got some of the stock reverbs, and those are, oh my god, they were just like holding perfect in a headwind, just flip up a little bit, still stable, and yeah, then the Falcor's sick, and they kind of retooled the depth a little bit, so they're a little deeper and just feel so money.
I feel like a lot of Prodigy discs have a tendency to be the drivers are a little more shallow than a lot of other brands.
Yeah, and
I like it kind of, but
yeah, and even Kev was like, these reverbs are gonna kick out like all my old D2s that I have and everything, and yeah, they just bomb. But in the A5 and the A Model OS those are gonna be good. I don't know if I'll be throwing the A2 anymore. They're like the perfect.
Those are the ones
stability.
I'm really excited to try out because I threw the A2 for a while. And I loved them, but then I lost all of them. So I like haven't been throwing them. But I saw that those were coming out, and I was like, "Ooh, I might have to."
I'll probably still bag
something
like a 300 A2 for something like crazy stable and just that plastic like grabbing the ground nice. But
Yeah. What's the decision like for a guy who, went to college, like has the degree, all that type of stuff, to choosing like the tour life, to being like, so how old are you? Like 23?
Almost 23.
Okay. So obviously you're at the point where most people like our age are, all right, what the hell am I doing with my life?
Yeah.
What's that choice like to be like, yo, I just spent 4 years at college to get this degree, whatever, and now you're like, I'm gonna just go live in a van and throw frisbees in park. Like, what's that?
Well, I knew the shit. I knew the first year was probably going to be like just a little tight and feeling everything, but like, I mean, even with me paying like tournament entry and everything, like I was still like up like $1,000 at the end. And so I was like, if I just got some, like was able to get some support in some way or find like a little job or start selling some stuff, like it could very easily be like doable. And especially with having like a marketing degree, like I've just been kind of looking for some stuff to be able to, and I'm sure you've seen on the Instagram, I got into like kendama quite a bit, and I'll be setting up a sweet kendama booth at like all events basically. And so it'd be helping out a little bit that way. And I've just been looking for like little things. I'll be helping work for Prodigy at their booth whenever they're setting up. Nice. And then got some stuff for Wander Disc Golf that's dropping. And then I'll have a couple different fundraiser discs also coming out.
Do you know
this
what
year.
discs?
Not yet. It kind of depends on what they have available.
Is it like you get like just a shipment and they put your stamp on it?
Yeah.
Not like a tour series, actually.
Yeah. I'll just be like, hey, like I kind of want to order like 125 discs or something, and then be like, all right, these are available, and then just pick whatever is kind of popular. But yeah, just kind of looking for things like that to help at least feel like I'm using my degree in the sense. And I think wrestling helps quite a bit with it. Like, I know that I don't expect like quick results or anything. I know it's a long, slow process of progression, and like I'm willing to just sit and kind of, it's going to be annoying at sometimes, but to keep grinding to get better, and eventually if everything just keeps going right, then I'll be
like
set.
As long as you're like kind of even, but it's like a slow up.
Yeah,
in the end it'll work out.
Yeah, if I just keep progressively getting better, like it has been, then we'll be golden by the end.
What did your parents think?
My mom was definitely like super skeptical at first. Just like she's always been like my number one supporter, and she was definitely super skeptical a little bit. And then I think that as the signs started coming in, she kind of like saw it a little more, like, oh, like maybe he can do this. And then when Prodigy emailed me, she was like 100% behind. She's like, all right, like, let's do it.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
That's good. Cause I know like, I feel like some parents out there would be like, hell no.
Yeah. Yeah. No, I kind of got lucky with the support crew I got, but yeah, my family is fully 100% behind it. It is funny though, with the, like, as you start talking to older people, they like don't even like, oh, so how long are you doing that for? It's like, well, I'm trying
they
to
don't
make it,
realize
like, oh, you can make money from that. It's like, yeah, like I'm trying to make that my life. My grandma the other day, she's like, oh, the Apple store is open in Waukee. Like, is that something you'd be interested in? I was like, what? Like, I don't want to do that.
Yeah. I feel like a lot of like the like older people, they just really like don't realize there's other options out there in today's world than just like getting a job.
Yeah. I mean, there's with like social media and everything, like you can have the most odd job, and yeah, just some people don't fully understand that like you can make money doing weird
pretty
things.
much make money doing like anything nowadays.
Yeah, if you just get some sort of following, like you can make
So what is your like social media plan for this year? Are you gonna start YouTube at all? Are you gonna, because right now are you just kind of like just Instagram like that?
Yeah, just Instagram. And I'm trying to think if I'm gonna start. I mean, I'd like to start my like a YouTube. I guess I already have one and I've done some like wrestling vlogs in the past, but I'd like to start mine and at least keep it short, or at least just have like a disc of the week to try to like keep promoting like Prodigy stuff.
Right.
But then Wander Disc Golf, they came out with like a new segment
I
called
saw
the
that,
Wander Life. And I'm in the middle of, I've been recording all this week, and they're making that more like for Tristan and I, kind of like a day, he said, just pick a week, and it's kind of like a day in the life outside of playing. So like what you're eating, if you go do any fun activities or whatnot. And so, yeah, we'll see how that goes. And then they did have a podcast going, but I don't know if they're going to bring that back up or not.
Yeah.
But
yeah, I definitely, that's cool that they're doing that. I also think it's cool that they are having you guys do like doing it while you're not playing.
Yeah.
Because from like me, like working in like social media and like content creation, most people who are like a fan of you or a fan of disc golf, they obviously want to go watch the coverage, but they want to know what you're doing.
Yeah.
Just on your,
like
that's how any industry is. Any like behind the scenes look a person can get, that's what's going to get the most watches.
Yeah.
Because they want to know.
Yeah, I was just going to say all the behind the scenes stuff. And like, I mean, and I've always been a fan, even just like mic'd up stuff, just to hear like any bit of information you can get of like anyone you look up to, like what they do in their day-to-day life is, I've always found interesting. So I thought it was a pretty good idea for the YouTube series.
Yeah, because I see a lot of like disc golfers on Instagram where they're like some of the best players in the world, and they have like 5 posts. The only post they have every year is their sponsorship announcement.
I know.
And I'm like, what are you doing? Like, you're literally like, it's so like you could make it hard and like make it a lot of work by like going hard in it, but like to just post like your tournament recaps and like review a disc, like it's so easy.
Yeah,
they're not
missing
doing it.
such like
already,
a big market.
They already have the fan base.
Yeah.
So just give them the platform. It's not like nobody knows who they are.
Yeah.
Like I always think back, like I think it was like Kelvin Heimberg.
Yeah,
like, didn't have an Instagram until like 2 years ago or something.
Yeah, and he just started like going off kind of.
Yeah.
And he's like, I'm gonna be way more active this year.
Yeah, it's like, I would hope so. You're the like top 3 in the world.
Yeah. And then James started doing pretty good with it too last year.
Yeah.
But I mean, whether you have someone else run your account or you gotta be posting, especially that high level.
Something. I guarantee you, with how the disc golf like world and market is right now, like how small it is, and like how much of like you could go meet your favorite player just out on the local course any day of the week. Like it's not like they're like disc golf famous people, but like in the big picture, like you can go up and talk to anybody.
Yeah.
Professional disc golfers, if you do not want to like do your social media, guarantee you there's a dude out there who's sitting at home watching every single piece of coverage out, who works in marketing, works in media production, who if you hit him up and said, hey man, I'll send you $300 a month to like do my social media, they would be like, hell yes. Like,
Yeah.
because they're a fan of you and they want to help you out. And it also like, guarantee it. Just look into it because it'll help your brand. It'll make you more money.
Yeah. And especially with people getting, or like the Beacon Sports Management.
Yep. A lot of guys are picking up actual agents and stuff now.
Yeah. And so, I mean, with Gannon and I can't remember who's all on the T Calvin. And I mean, that's going to be a game changer too. Cause then they won't have to worry about finding anything. And because Eagle already has has an agent too. And I know someone that was like trying to get through to him and they had to go through like 2 or 3 different people to like actually get to Eagle. And I was like, he's got like a top setup.
Yeah. That's
just
crazy.
Only being able to focus on
that's
disc
how they're
golf
going to get the big deal, like the deals, because they're like, a lot of people like, it's hard for them to like talk money or they don't know what they're worth really, I guess, especially in a sport this new, like this up and coming, is you don't like, some dudes are probably out there signing deals for $500 a month, not knowing like, dude, you should be charging like $5,000. Like, you know, like a lot of guys in disc golf right now are probably getting taken advantage of if you don't have an agent. I'll tell you that much. Like,
because I mean,
there's money out there, and you're like, look at it as like, what is your time worth? It's a lot more than you're probably charging.
Yeah, because I honestly think that almost like at least in the top 20 in the world, like they should just be extremely comfortable. Because I mean, if you have a top 20 guy on your team and they're not just like able to just basically do what they want during the season, because obviously
if they still gotta like
lower.
flip discs all year to like make ends meet,
then they're doing it wrong. But at least that sector of people should be able to just be very comfortable throughout the year.
So how has the like mental aspect of the game been for you? Obviously you have like a wrestling background, which is, other than probably golf, well, I would say like equally, but like it's just you. Obviously there's team, but you got to win your own match.
Yeah.
So the mindset is, I always thought wrestlers probably have one of the best mindsets in the world, I would say. Like, how is that transferred over to disc golf for you?
It's definitely helps a lot. I'm a huge like David Goggins fan, and so I kind of like throughout this year like applied his concept of like he always has like the "you can't hurt me," like stay hard type stuff, and just to like stay focused. But it was definitely, I would consider that like my strong suit, but from where wrestling, like it's a lot of like positive self-talk and but like disc golf is very easy to be negative on yourself, because it's like, oh, you jackass, like why'd you do that? Like you can like throw that shot. Where wrestling, like if you messed up, like you don't really have time to think about that. Like where now you have how many minutes until you throw your next shot? Like, why did I do that? Why did I do that? Where that was kind of the biggest struggle, is not to fall into that negative mindset and just like, I'm a big advocate of like everything happens for a reason. And like, oh, like if I didn't shank that shot and then like make bogey there, I wouldn't have went on this birdie streak, or like the order would have been different, wouldn't have had the wind. And so, I mean, I'm right where I'm supposed to be. And so I try to think of it as everything happens for a reason. But with the mindset, just biggest thing for me is always making sure just positive and don't really get too hard on myself, because it's definitely way easier to do in disc golf than wrestling. Yeah.
I it like threw me for a loop, because growing up playing football and baseball, I was like, I want the pressure. Like I've thrived in like the pressure. And then in disc golf, I crumble. Like I cannot putt in a tournament but I'm thinking, I'm like, why, if it was bottom of the ninth, down by 1, like put me up to the plate, please.
Yeah.
But I have to make a putt in a tournament. Oh fuck, it ain't happening. And I don't know why. I still like. I'm trying to figure it out because I'm like, why in every other sport I've ever done, I confident in every situation ever.
Yeah.
But throwing a putt in disc golf, I step up to every tee and I'm confident I can park every single shot there is. Putting, nothing. I'm like,
yeah,
and I still try and like get it. Like, I'm like, how? I don't understand it. But
yeah, putting is a monster of its own. If it just like gets, because once it like someone's in their head about putting, like it's just boom, 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 just downhill from there. But yeah, it's nuts with how much that can like just eat at you in disc golf. But yeah, because like I don't know, that's weird to think though, because with wrestling like being the only one out there, like I love just the like all eyes on you for this moment and then like execute. And like even at Worlds this year, at Mulligan's, I think it's like hole 14 plays alongside like hole 3. So it was like second to last card went, and then we went while lead card, and the whole gallery was like stopped. So it's
basically like you had 1,000 people watching you.
We had like 500 people sitting there, and I had like a 30-foot putt at the sand traps, and I drilled it, and they all went nuts. I was like, but yeah, those like it. You just have to fully embrace it to really just love it. Yeah. And you almost have to lie to yourself sometimes. It's like, oh, like I cannot wait for this putt. Yeah. But
yeah, I think because a lot of times I'll be walking up to a putt and like all I'm thinking is like, God, I'm going to miss this putt.
And as soon as you put the don't do this, that makes your brain think about like, only
don't
that.
Shank it off to the right. Like I'm like, oh man.
Yeah.
That's the worst. So what's your, since kind of like going on tour, van, like what's the best experience you've had just like traveling, being on the road, being able to kind of like do anything you want?
Probably I still have dreams about Vermont. Vermont was so
I want to get
sick.
there so bad.
Dude, the courses are beautiful. Like two of my favorite courses. And then it was just like they had a separate lot for the players, like staying in the van. And it's like halfway up Smuggler's Notch. And there's like zero white light pollution. And you could see, like we saw like 4 shooting stars at night, and you could just see absolutely everything. And so like we'd play practice round, drive 15 minutes to this waterfall that was just like ice cold. So we'd go like cliff jumping in the waterfall. And then I'd just sit in there for like 15, 20 minutes, have a beer or something, and let my body just like fully like recover, and then go grab a bite to eat, go up there, chill, and then like maybe grill at night, and then just all sit around, talk, and like with the night sky is insane. And they have I can't remember what it's called, like the festival going with the live music and vendors. Oh, yeah. And it was just all around like the best experience.
Yeah, I bet that the Vermont courses, like just seeing them, like that is my one place like I want to get so bad. It looks just it's got to be like one of the most beautiful places in the US. Like
100%. Sure. And like the courses are insane because they're all like there's a few like bonus, but like it's like everyone can birdie them. And so like you could be having a bad round at Brewster or something, but then just get hot anywhere on the course because like you can get every hole. And I love that kind of golf where like every hole is challenging, but you can just start a streak like anywhere on the course.
That's nice where it's like, because some courses, if you're off, it's going to be a long day. Like, dude, that's how it was. I played Shelly Sharp, and I don't even know why I signed up for this tournament. I suck at putting, and 15 of the baskets are raised. So it's like, if your putt's not feeling good, you can't like, on raised baskets, you're not going to get it back. I don't know, at least for me, because you have no opportunity to just like drill a solid putt, I feel like, and be like, okay, that's how it's supposed to feel. Dude, that was...
And especially, like, I mean, there's almost always wind going out there, and with, over half the baskets elevated is just asking for another 30-some foot comebacker.
Dude, I was laying up everything. It was horrible. Worst weekend of my life. Not really, but it sucked.
And I I haven't got to watch that stuff yet. Was that just at Vista or is that
Just
Fountain too?
Vista,
Just Vista.
yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. That too. It's like the first couple days and you're like, I gotta go back here again. Come on, man. Brutal. So what are some of like, what are the negatives of living on the road? Like what's your worst experiences so far of the tour life?
It was nuts. So the first weekend, I guess second weekend, I was staying at the golf course parking lot for Portland Open. It was me, Quentin Becker, Matt Polson, and Phil Delaney, and we were sitting in the parking lot, and there's like a 2-foot gap between me and my van. I was putting away my grilling stuff. I see this person like slide in between that gap, and I look up, and it's this little like 5-foot lady. She's like, "Hi." I was like, Jesus, like what the hell? And like we all kind of, and she was just like tweaked out and just like eyeing all of our stuff, looking, and she was like sizing up Phil, and he like asked if she like needed help or if she's in trouble, like if she wanted water, and so she like took the water, and then she like slammed it like a little kid and just like accordion style, and then like dumped the rest out, and Phil was like, "One for the homies." I was like, Jesus, Phil, not now. And then she like really started sizing up Phil and just kind of like zeroed in on him. And he's like, started getting a little like serious with her. And he's like, "Hey, like what's going on?" And it looked like he started reaching for something, but then just started taking off all her clothes and then just started chasing Phil. And we all like didn't know what was going on. So we took off. And then the golf course, like the people in charge, like when she got reclothed, got her to go sit, and then the cops came and got her. But
Jeez.
it was like second weekend there. I was like, is that how staying in the van is gonna be? You just
That's what
get all
it's gonna
these
be.
like weirdos,
Random parking lots.
Yeah.
Just,
But really, that was like the only issue. And then, I mean, like obviously not having like a solid place to stay every week or anything can be a little irritating. Or I wouldn't say irritating, but like just annoying at times. But if you have a good group of people, then it's not bad.
yeah. What's the longest drive you've done like without stopping?
On the way here, I drove like 15 hours. So, and then right after I graduated and went out to Portland, it was like 14 and a half and then like 13 and a half back to back. And that messed my body up for a while.
Yeah. I did 22 straight one time.
Oh my God, dude.
It was miserable.
Just you?
Yeah.
What? Just living off bang energy?
I think I drank like 7 Monsters that day. And
my
by the end of it, I was literally like hallucinating. Like,
Dude, it gets to that point.
I was driving from like here to Nashville, and
God.
you're not going to stop in the middle of Tennessee in the middle of the night.
Yeah.
You would probably never be seen again. So I'm like, well, I'm going to just keep going.
Yeah.
Like you're at the point where you're in the car, and I'm like screaming to like to wake yourself up. I like put my head out the window so that I'm like, you just need like 10 minutes here, 10 minutes. Like,
Yeah.
Just
gotta call someone or
most of the
I
day I
would
try and like just call people, be on the phone with people, because
Yeah.
that's like I would say the best way to just have like a couple hours, like boom, gone.
Yeah.
boom.
And I always get like the first hour isn't bad, and then the next 2 or 3 I'm exhausted, and then like from like 11 or 12 to like 3 or 4 I'm good, and then like 4 to 7 I'm just exhausted, and then like I feel like I can go forever.
Yeah, I feel like you hit that once you get kind of like you're going for a while. It's kind of just like, all right, here we go.
Like, all right, we're doing it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I always pick my feet up off the ground because I like can just hold it, and because it's like impossible to fall asleep if like you're activating your core.
Yeah, that's a good idea.
Yeah. So I'll do that as long as I can, and then I'll start burning, and then I'll sit down, and then I'll eventually break a sweat and kind of wake up a little bit. But
That's funny. That's a good idea though. Never thought of that. Shit. So what the fuck was I gonna ask? I forgot. Oh yeah, what do you like? So you disc golfer, wrestler. What else? What's your favorite stuff to do? Other hobbies?
man, I used to be super into video games, but I haven't played video games in a couple years. I mean, really just like I got super into kendama. And so for those of you that don't know, it's like a Japanese hand-eye coordination, like skill toy. And it's got like 3 cups and a ball on a string and a spike, and there's like all kind. There's like names for all these different tricks.
Kind of like yo-yoing almost.
Yeah, it's like a mix of yo-yo and like ball and cup.
Yeah. Yeah.
And but it's like a lot of skateboarders and like BMX people are super into it because it's the same as like grinding out a trick, and then the satisfaction of like spiking it to end the trick is like it was sort of like stupid thrilling the first time I did it. I was like, why did I just get like that big of a rush from that? And so I kind of stuck with that, and then I do like I just like being outside and going. Big foodie. I like trying out different places, like when I'm in town or something, and then I like working out too.
Yeah.
Nothing too crazy, just a basic. Disc golf takes a lot of time. So.
Yeah, definitely. How when you're on tour, like how many rounds are you playing a week, you think?
Probably around every day. Sometimes I usually 2 rounds a day, like I have to like grind for, because I mean any more, like I feel just like an old man, but like afterwards I just like want to rest. But like the day before a tournament, I'll usually try to take off, like if the like week aligns right, and then maybe just go play like some problem holes and putt, but probably around a day. And then I will like go like maybe throw in a field or something, and then like go practice putt while. And the people I hang out with, we will usually like grill, and then late at night go play like a few putting games for like $5 or something. But
what are you looking forward to most this year?
I've never been to Florida, so I'm interested. I mean, it's only Tallahassee, so it's not like down there, but I've been in 43 out of 48 states.
All from like recently from disc golf, or did
a lot,
you travel a lot?
Some before, just from where I've been as like a kid, but then I knocked off a lot this year. So I have like Louisiana, Florida, and then I think, it's like Maine, whatever is right now. Is that Connecticut or something?
I think
it's like Maine, Connecticut, and there's a New Hampshire or something. There's like 3 up there, and then two like southeast. But looking forward to kind of knocking off a few more, just and really the first half of the season, because I missed it last year. So like Vegas, the whole Texas swing, and those are just going to be amazing.
Have you played Memorial ever?
I haven't. I've never played.
I feel like that, like at least like growing up watching, you always like Memorial's like the one where you're like, like
I know
watching Fountain Hills and stuff is so cool.
Yeah, and like the legendary like Jeremy Coling Macbeth, like those. Yeah. So I kind of disregarded that. Yeah, because I love playing Fountain Hills. Like it's
only played it one time, but I liked it.
Really?
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's nothing like crazy difficult, but it's just super super fun. And after like all the dead like hard grass and everything, and then get there and it's just green grass. I mean, plenty of people walking around and stuff, and then when the fountain goes off. But yeah, probably just playing the tournaments at the beginning of the year that I haven't got to, because it'll be like half the season off to grind out new courses, and then the back half it'll just be more like familiarizing myself. Like, okay, like these were the problem holes last year, fix those, and then like play the other holes the same, and then
it'd be nice too, because you kind of get like another, like you can take the first half of the season as almost like the first, like your whole season last year.
More.
Like, all right, I get to try this stuff, like do this for the first time again. Then you're warmed up for the second half of the season, and then you get to implement everything from last year and the beginning of the season. So obviously you want to have a good beginning of the season, but like hopefully that and second half of your season you just on fire.
Yeah. And that's kind of how it was like last year. Is, I mean, like the first half of the half I played was like figuring stuff out, and then I kind of got in a rhythm, and was averaging like 10. It was damn near like 10-20 the last 4 weeks just to.
What are you rated right now?
10.06. So nothing special, but a good spot to start the year at, I think.
Definitely.
But yeah, definitely want to get up in the teens this year. I try not to worry about like rating too much, and people say don't worry about rating, but like
it's like if you're a good player, you're a good player. So rating doesn't matter. But if your rating's going down, that means you're playing like shit.
Yeah,
so,
it's like I
it
obviously,
matters.
yeah.
It is a direct correlation of how all of your rounds go.
Yeah, because like when like you'll see people get pissed or something, they're like, oh, like what do you think that like round was rated? Like, who cares? Like, did it feel like a good round? It's like yeah, like felt not bad, but like I want to know like relative, like how. But yeah, so I mean, doesn't matter, but. I mean, I keep an eye on it just because
like Paul Macbeth's not Paul Macbeth if he's rated 1005.
Yeah, exactly.
So it matters. Basically, like Left Home podcast. I don't know if you've like watched any or not, but it's basically like the whole premise of for me is like talking, just having conversations with people that are doing things out of the ordinary. Which obviously disc golf being on tour, I would say is like one of the most unordinary. That's why I'm excited to have like a bunch of disc golf guys on like coming up here. But I ask like every person what, like if people are at home, whether it be like a disc golfer who's up and coming, guys shredding it locally, or just anybody out there who wants to like leave home, wants to do that thing that's out of the ordinary, maybe they're scared to do, what advice are you going to give them to like take that step?
Send it.
Just send it.
Because I mean, like, really, yeah. I mean, it's all the cliche stuff. Just like as much as you put in, you'll get out type. But I mean, anyone can work as hard as they want and eventually get toward whatever it is. Just work towards that goal. I mean, whether it be like work extra to save up to get a van or something to then like be able to pursue whatever you want, but. I mean, really, you just have to commit and just accept that you're going to commit and just, I mean, obviously be smart about all your decisions, but, yeah, I mean, you just have to commit and fully own that that's like what you're going to do. And then only think about that and make that your goal and do whatever it takes to get there.
Yeah, I'd agree.
I mean, yeah, it's just I mean, everything you've ever heard about it, just like pursuing your dream or whatever, like you can do it. Yeah. And I never would have thought, like, I remember when I was in rec and I went to Iron Line at the time, now Titan Disc Golf. I was like asked them, I was like, oh, so like how do people go about like getting sponsored? And because I'm someone that when you get into something, like I'm all in, whether it be the kendama or like video game fingerboard, like I just want to like all in. And so I was like, oh, like how do you go about getting sponsored? And he just like kind of gave me a bland answer of, oh, just another kid like wanting to get sponsored. And then I kind of like took what he said and then just like started grinding and looking back, like it's kind of cool to see it. But in the time, like I didn't know how good I was going to get. I didn't know where I'd take it, but I just kept going out. And I don't know how many slow-mo videos I took in my room like a junior or senior in high school of like trying to get the pull through down without a disc or anything. And it's just, you can never do too much to achieve your goal.
Oh yeah, definitely. Well, shit. Want to shout out your sponsors or?
Yeah. Shout out Prodigy Disc, obviously. If you don't throw anything at Prodigy, I highly recommend it. They're coming out with a lot of good discs. Shout out Titan Disc Golf in Des Moines. They have an online website, titandiscgolf.com, as well as Wander Disc Golf at wanderdiscgolf.com. Some of their proceeds go back to mental health. And be on the lookout for their YouTube channel. And Sweets Kendamas. If you're interested in that, check out their website and use promo code BABCOCK15. Get 15% off. And yeah, just appreciate everything they've done for me, and just go check them out. Hell yeah.
All right, Gavin, thanks for coming on.
Yeah, appreciate it, man.
Left Home Podcast, episode number 8, I think. See you in the next one.
Cigarettes on cigarettes, my mama think I stink. I got burns in my hoodies, all the homies think I miss my cocoa butter kisses. I miss my cocoa butter kisses. Cigarettes on cigarettes, my mama think think I stink. I got pearls in my memories. The homies think it's dank. I miss my cocoa butter